energy, they are still also leaders in fossil fuels. MidAmerican Energy has no plans to retire their coal fleet until 2050. That is too late. How late? Late. All right, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce our first speaker. Hannah Hayes is here, and she drove all the way from Des Moines with me to attend the rally and the meeting. And yeah, I'm going to let her speak at the microphone here.
Go, Hannah!
So the 123rd year anniversary for the release date of the timeless classic, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, will be a few weeks from today on May 17th. I say this because I've been thinking a lot about The Wizard of Oz recently. In fact, my trip here to Omaha feels a lot like going down the yellow brick road towards the shimmering Emerald City of Oz. Both are buzzing with excitement and anticipation of people hoping to meet a great and powerful wizard. Yes, we are most definitely not in Kansas, or, in my case, coming from Des Moines, Iowa, anymore. I was further reminded of The Wizard of Oz on the car ride here because I kept seeing the towering wind turbines along the side of the road. These monumental structures represent the necessary and positive shift to renewable energy that our society and climate so desperately needs. These turbines are owned and operated by MidAmerican as advertised. MidAmerican is Iowa's primary energy provider, and these wind turbines produce enough clean energy to meet Iowa's energy needs. However, if we pull back the curtain as Dorothy did in Oz, we see that these wind turbines are being used to cover up the fact that MidAmerican owns 5 coal plants in my state that make them Iowa's biggest carbon polluter. These coal plants must be retired because they are not necessary to meet Iowa's energy needs and are more costly than renewable energy. Coincidentally, MidAmerican and its coal plants are one of many energy companies owned by Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire's fleet of coal plants have caused 195 premature deaths, making them the 3rd deadliest coal fleet owning company in the nation. Suddenly, the Emerald City doesn't seem so shimmering anymore. It appears gray, polluted, and deadly. On this planet that is becoming more deadly by the day because of a warming world, we cannot continue to invest in fossil fuels as Berkshire Hathaway does. MidAmerican does not plan to retire their last coal plant until 2049, which will be much too late. In fact, as the IPCC makes clear, the world needs to nearly halve greenhouse gas emissions by 2030 at the latest. Take, for example, the fact that when the movie The Wizard of Oz was released in 1939, the global temperature was 0.02 degrees below the average temperature of 13.9 degrees Celsius. But now it is 0.9 degrees above that pre-industrial times average. It is clear our world is warming. Woo! It is clear. It is clear our world is warming at an alarming rate due to our human activities. And we are already feeling the effects of these higher temperatures. As our atmosphere becomes hotter, the weather has become much more unpredictable and extreme. Just a few years ago, in my state of Iowa, we witnessed a thunderstorm much worse than the tornado Dorothy had to face. It was an inland hurricane that was the costliest thunderstorm in our nation's history at $11 billion. These weather events will become more frequent, costly, and deadly if we as a society do not take action, and if Berkshire Hathaway as a company does not divert away from fossil fuels. It is clear that in order to slow climate change, we as a society must change instead. We cannot continue on business as usual. The economy and investments that are currently being discussed within this Emerald City will not matter in a world where we are struggling to produce enough food for everyone. If I had one wish, it would be to pull back the curtain and actually have 100% renewable energy. Unfortunately, you can see that I don't have any ruby slippers that I can simply click and make this dream a reality. But we do have something better. We have a wizard. Warren Buffett is in there right now, and he has the power to invest in renewable energy. He needs to be brave like the lion and act on climate because all of our futures depend on it. Thank you.
For Hannah, a little louder. Come on. Got very early for this. All right, cool. So I realized I didn't introduce myself. myself, my name is Emma Coleman. I am with the Sierra Club. I'm based in Des Moines. I work across the state. I'm here in Omaha today because Berkshire Hathaway's pollution has no boundaries. Their coal plants might be in our state over in Iowa, all 5 of them polluting our air, our water, the Missouri River. Most recently, they proposed to dump coal ash in the Missouri River and poison our water. I also want to make clear that this isn't just, they don't just own the coal plants, they own the coal mines, they own the railroad that takes one from to and from the other. Like, this is a whole, what did you call it? Yeah, vertically integrated. Michelle is ready to speak. No, have Michelle. There's my neighborhood.
Are we awake yet? Sorry about that, everybody. I would like to ask if there's any elder that would like to offer any words today. As we begin our demonstration, we begin our rally to draw awareness to our communities and to the river. Anybody at all?
Yes, don't quit, never quit.
All right, don't quit, never quit. All right. My name is Mahmoud Fitil. I'm here today on behalf of Great Plains Action Society. I'm a resident here. I'm been in this community for a long time. I'm working here in Iowa and Nebraska on environmental issues and social justice issues. We're out here today, as Emma had mentioned, to draw awareness to Berkshire Hathaway and their subsidiary, MidAmerican Energy, the state monopoly electric utility over in Iowa, and what it's doing currently to our air in Sioux City, in the reservation communities of Winnebago and Omaha, and now their devious plans to shave money and save, improving their bottom lines. They want to dump toxic coal ash into the Missouri River, a river that is sacred to many of these indigenous people of the area. And we've got many tribal representatives here that have come down to voice their concerns about their communities, whether that be here in Omaha, the city proper, Sioux City, whereas a large urban native community, or the reservations of the Winnebago tribe of Nebraska or the Omaha Nation. I would like to go ahead and acknowledge that we are standing on the land of the Omaha people and the Oto people historically, and I would like to offer up our first speaker, if she would like to approach the stage, Ms. Michelle Free-Lemire, a tribal member of the Winnebago tribe of Nebraska.
Hinikadigi, we know! I am Nieja Habachwinga, comes from the water. I'm from the Wolf clan, and the water is our sacred possession because that's where the wolves originated from. And therefore, I'm naturally a water protector. One question that keeps going through my mind, especially after hearing about the MidAmerican Energy application to dump coal ash into the Missouri River just north of my reservation, I keep asking the question, how much money is enough? There's a man over there that has more money than he could possibly spend in a lifetime, even in his children's lifetimes. How much money is enough? How much more do they need? Why can't they switch to renewable energy and save our planet and save countless lives? Coal ash is already being stored in unlined ponds. And among the pollutants are arsenic, selenium, and mercury, just to name 3 of them. There's a whole list of them. And some of the health effects of arsenic, low levels of arsenic over a long period of time, include heart disease, blood vessel problems, diabetes, neurological problems, bone density problems. Now, if we go to the Winnebago reservation where my people are, or we go to our Omaha relatives, what are the biggest health problems? Blood vessel problems, heart disease, diabetes, neurological problems. Our children are suffering because they're coming into school already at a deficit because of the neurological problems. We have been less than 15 miles from MidAmerican Energy's plant in Port Neal. So we have been subject to this pollution for generations, and it's killing our people. There's no way for us to escape it. We try to use our traditional medicines, but the traditional medicines draw upon polluted water. So even our medicines are contaminated. We'll have to go elsewhere to try to get medicines and trade with other tribes for whatever we could possibly can. But our traditional medicines will do just as much harm as anything else that we grow in that polluted land. And they're planning on stepping up the pollution by dumping that coal ash in the Missouri River. Who's going to get the worst of it? We are. The Winnebago people are going to take the biggest hit. Then the Omaha people are going to take a huge hit. It might dissipate some by the time it gets to Omaha, but you're not going to escape it. We need to stop this pollution. We need to stop the greed. Because no amount of money is ever going to be enough to satisfy their greed. So it's the people that are going to have to stand up. The people that are going to have to speak up any place we can. Whether it's at a meeting like this, whether it's in the legislature, whether it's in the Capitol buildings, whether it's at City Hall, whether it's even at the school boards. Because we need our young people to be educated about the world we live in. We don't need any more whitewashing of our education. We need to decolonize our education. Which means we need to be teaching the truth. And if you think children need to be coddled and handled with kid gloves, spark up a conversation with a kid and they'll start telling you everything they know about the world. They have access to the internet. They are a lot more wise than you can possibly imagine. I teach 7 and 8 year olds, and they already know a lot. They are a lot wiser than you possibly imagine, and they can hold some very serious, very deep conversations, and they've already formed opinions. Yesterday, I talked to my 7 and 8 year olds and telling them what I was going to do today. And their question was, why can't they just keep the money they have? Why can't they just love mana, which is the earth? And they said, why can't they just love mana? Why can't they have a relationship? And that's what our indigenous education all throughout time immemorial was based on, relationships. Now, if we just learn from books and learn what somebody wrote down and never make that connection, we can do all kinds of horrible things to our environment, to our people, to our neighbors. But when we establish those relationships with each other, with our children, with our elders, with our tribes, our communities, we establish relationships with our land. It's hard to harm somebody that you have a relationship with. And if you can establish the relationships with the land around you, it's going to be easier to stand up and speak up. Jegukida.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Everybody give it up again for Michelle. So I wanted to share really quickly, the first time I went up to Sioux City to meet with those community members, I wasn't really familiar with the area, and I was just about to reach the city, and I was tuning through the radio station. And the radio station from the reservation, I believe, came on, and it was like really beautiful drumming music. And then I saw a sign for the Winnebago reservation, and then I saw the smokestacks for the 2 coal plants. And I was just like, this is another tragic case and example of environmental racism. This is another example of treating people like they're disposable, and that is shameful. And that is happening across our state and across the planet. This isn't just happening where people are suffering the direct impacts by the pollution in their water. This is also happening where people are facing the brunt of the climate crisis, and they don't have the money or the means to get back on their feet. People that are in low-income communities are always treated as disposable and struggle more to bounce back from things like we saw the derecho just a couple years ago. And we can't let that happen. We can't treat people as disposable. We cannot treat our earth as disposable. If our earth is treated as disposable, we're treating people as disposable. So with that, I want to introducing Dr. David Corbin. Please give it up for him.
Hi, I'm David Corbin. I'm Energy Committee Chair of the Nebraska Chapter Sierra Club. And I first want to start out, I'm going to end the same way. The only coal we need is a coalition. That's what you are. And we need to stop Warren Buffett. He is, you know, the Mid-America Energy advertises on TV all the time about their clean energy and how they're good for the environment. They don't ever tell the side of the coal. As you can see right behind this building, the coal there and the pictures over there. If Warren Buffett is truly the Oracle of Omaha, then he should be able to see the future, not the past. The future is no coal. This train, that if you look at that picture, as far as you can see, the coal train, the cars go as far as the eye can see. They keep coming in every day. Guess where that ends up? It ends up in the atmosphere. So try to picture that instead of there, up here, and that's what we have to breathe. So Warren Buffett can't burn the candle at both ends. He can't claim clean energy while he's doing all of this for coal. So this company is also Warren Buffett. BNSF is the train that he owns, that Berkshire Hathaway owns, and that's what's coming through our city. You can see in that picture there, right behind this building, right there. So the pollution from the Walter Scott plant over in Council Bluffs is one of the worst in the area. But here in Omaha, we have our own battle. So Omaha Public Power District was supposed to close down the North Omaha plant for burning coal. This year, it's extended for 3 more years. So as a result, we formed a North Omaha ad hoc group that is made up of people who breathe the worst air, and that is predominantly low income and the black community in Omaha who have been breathing this polluted air for years and years. They have one of the highest asthma rates in the whole region, and they have some of the highest death rates from asthma. So part of that, of course, a large percentage of that comes from the coal plant. So there's respiratory diseases and so on. So that's why the Sierra Club is partnering with the North Omaha community, why we're trying to shut down the Walter Scott plant, which, and depending on when you look, of the 100 top most polluting coal plants in the country, is probably about 33rd or 35th. So it's huge. It's putting out a lot of pollution. So the Berkshire Hathaway has to say no more coal. No more coal. No more coal. No more coal. The only coal we need is a coalition. The only coal we need is a coalition. That's you. We're going to stop them. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Dr. Corbin. Feel free to snap along too with speakers. You'll see me doing that over here. Show some love and support. Okay, I want to introduce our next speaker, Trish. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Thank you.
All right. Hello everyone. My name is Trisha Etchinger and I work with Great Plains Action Society. I am the Siouxland Project Director and I am enrolled with the Winnebago Tribe of Nebraska. And I just want to say, just to reiterate what Michelle Free-Lemire talked about is, this is complete, this is nonsense. We have the richest man here, right? And we know that he has teams of educated people. So how are we even at this? Why are we having this conversation? Why are we even here? We shouldn't be investing in dirty oil and dirty coal money. We should be investing in a sustainable, clean environment for our future. I brought my kids here because this is what drives me. Okay, they deserve to have a clean, sustainable energy and environment for the future.
That's right.
Yes. So what I wanted to talk about is, again, just kind of repeating the negative effects, right? So we have this proposed waste being dumped into the Missouri River, which is unconceivable at this point because the Missouri also has a spirit too as well. And this is going to trickle down to the Winnebago and to the Omaha and to also everybody that's downstream. Not just us, but we're going to be hit the hardest. We already have challenges and barriers that we as Indigenous people face every day. Let me remind you how people were acting with toilet paper during the pandemic. Can you imagine if we actually had a catastrophic event in which, our lives are on the line? Our lives are on the line. But we've seen how people were acting towards the pandemic and who benefited, who got the help, who really got the help. And why? Because we are in a systemic racist environment. Our whole world, our worldview, or not our worldview, but here in the United States, that's how it all started, is because it's benefited for the people of power and privilege. Now, this is not to attack any of my cool allies. This is to raise the question, how are you going to challenge your community? How are you going to have those conversations? What are you going to do in your everyday life? You can go back to your homes and be fine. But when I go back, I don't have the luxury of just not standing up and not, paying attention to it. I have to do that. I feel obligated to do that. So what are you going to do to challenge your communities? And how are you really going to take this system down? And I'm glad that everyone is here because we're having a presence. But honestly, it comes down to the legislators. And we already know how that's going in Iowa. That's not looking too good. But it doesn't mean that we can't make the change. So whether it's a school board, whether it's a local city council, whether it's just a small committee, it doesn't matter. As long as you're in there and you're raising the concern about education, environment, anything, that starts the conversation because it's all connected. Just like this money is all connected. This money is connected to so many rich white folks. And I'm going to say that because that's what it is. At the end of the day, it is a system that benefits the power and the privileged. So, at the end of the day, we need to stand up, we need to fight back, and we need to keep the pressure on not just this meeting, but future meetings. We need to have those conversations. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for coming out.
When our air is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When our water is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When the planet we need is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. Nice. Thank you. I want to say that we don't just stand with the Indigenous community and our partners in solidarity for environmental justice. We stand for social justice, especially today, this weekend, yesterday, as they honor missing and murdered Indigenous relatives. This is an epidemic that the Indigenous community faces. Yesterday was the awareness day for it. One way to raise awareness is to wear red, so we've all really got that covered pretty well today, which is great. But if that's not something you know about, please come talk to folks, and yeah, it's good to be aware. And these projects, a lot of things that Berkshire has investments in and projects in, one way that they're linked to missing and murdered Indigenous relatives is by creating man camps, like when you're building pipelines, for an example, that come through communities, through reservations, and that's where a lot of human trafficking happens. So it's not a fun thing to talk about by any means. It's really scary, and so we want to help raise awareness around that.
Thank you, Emma.
All right, yeah, it's all, I mean, yeah, as Trish said, and as Tessa said, it's all connected. Okay, so I think we're gonna join, like I said, our Indigenous community members in a round dance. We have some drummers that have come over today.
Hey!